We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars Wrestling Show, episode 253. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is the current reigning and defending Scholars of Wrestling World Champion, Scholar Tarek. What's going on tonight, sir?
Same week as usual, other than just we're getting a lot of good wrestling this past weekend.
Really? I hadn't heard.
Oh.
A lot of good wrestling this week, and none of it is WWE.
Yes, I think we would all know, all being coy aside, I think we all know that, don't we, Scholar Brian, Mr. Scholar in the Bank?
Indeed. A very good weekend turns into a regular Monday and Tuesday, turns into a holy shit Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. yeah, that's actually pretty accurate.
Oh, yeah. There were tons of ups and downs this week, so let's dive right in and take a quick look.
On that one. It's like ups and downs. Careful. Copyright on that one.
We're not using it like that.
How do they know that?
Why? Here's why.
Either way, let's go take a look at it all in a little segment we like to call a Backstage News.
Indeed. Let us go ahead and peek behind that curtain and check in on a little
Backstage News. Competition, man.
Yes, competition indeed. We've got AEW, the first officially branded AEW pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. And okay, just dive right in. Whether you saw it live, saw bits and pieces of it later, what did you think about the show?
It is definitely a different product than WWE. And it is in the good way. From one thing I definitely just felt watching this, not only was it great wrestling, there was great storytelling in the ring and outside the ring when it comes to commentary. Because unlike WWE commentary, where they're talking about all bunch of random other storylines and just talking about the match every so often, they are. Let's see, who's on the commentary? JR,
Excalibur,
some guy named Excalibur,
and some random dude.
We may not know his name right now, but he is definitely. They are all play-by-play guys. They are talking about what's going on in the ring and just the story around the wrestlers that are in the ring. They're not talking about other storylines happening maybe sometime later in the evening. Mm-hmm. They're putting all their focus on what's going on in the ring, and that helps me, the audience, get more invested with each and every match that was in, even in the matches on the pre-show. What was it, Kip Sabian?
Kip Sabian, I think.
Let's see. I actually have the results.
I'm pretty sure that it's Kip Sabian.
Kip Sabian and Sammy Guevara. That match, 10 minutes, was a great 10 minutes. I was actually invested on what was going on in that match.
And tell me, had you heard of those two?
No.
Before they got in the ring. That should tell you everything you need to know. It's just two guys getting in the ring and strutting their stuff enough where you can get invested in them, even though you have never seen them before. You have no idea what their characters are or anything like that. And that's the mark of a good wrestling product. I don't know who this is, but I'm invested in this finish only because of what I've seen in this 10 minutes.
It's what they've shown in the ring, and the fact that, like I said, the play-by-play announcers are invested on these guys. They're not just, like, if this was, like, the Lucha House Party, they may talk about they're in a squash match. Okay, they're doing this moves. Let's talk about how they're going this one feud with Lars Sullivan. Well, Lars, and the main focus will become Lars Sullivan, not the Lucha House Party. So in that case, they don't care about Lucha House Party. what makes me care about them? Because their main focus right now is the fact that they keep getting beat up by Lars Sullivan, and they have to keep referencing how much a Lars Sullivan is. So it's basically talking away from the guys in the ring, which they should be doing, compared to the big guy that, yes, they're in the feud with him, but all their focus is going on with the other guy. So with AEW, what's going on in the ring is what matters. So it got me into people I don't know. It actually makes me want to look into what they're going to do next. And by the time October reaches around, where it's week-by-week shows...
reaches around.
Hey, man, I'm the one that pulls the dirty jokes out of that one.
Hey, the climax is coming up, okay? Keep that up.
And no, it doesn't. No.
And keep that up, and we'll go back to what we were doing. That's it.
Oh, no. I'm really looking forward to what AEW is planning on bringing October when it comes a week-by-week program.
The key word that they've been building up going into this brand, this show, this company, is they want it to be an alternative to what everybody knows. Okay, WWE is more entertainment. AEW wants to be more sports-based. And all this show did was showcase that. Okay, even the Battle Royal. Okay, WWE has a set way for Battle Royals. It's like, you know what you're going to get every time that the WWE has a Battle Royal.
That's pretty much the story you can say for most of their matches, really.
In AEW, okay, the two Battle Royals have been some of the best matches on the card. And they were both pre-show. Okay, and you got guys who you've never heard of showcasing their stuff. Okay, had you ever heard of Luchasaurus before this?
As a matter of fact, I have.
I have, but only because I watched that show, Big Brother, and he was a contestant on the show without the mask. So it's like, I know specifically what this dude looks like underneath that awesome mask. And Joey Chitella, dude kills himself every time he gets in the ring. Okay, that bump he took through that table off that chokeslam, holy shit, bro.
That looked like that hurt.
And in case nobody had been paying attention, okay, based off of his performance in that Battle Royal, Luchasaurus did sign an exclusive contract with...
I saw with AEW. Yeah. He's all elite. So yes.
Would expect a tag team with him and Jungle Boy, because they've been doing that on the indies. They've been teaming up on the indies. So there's another tag team.
Combination.
There's another tag team for your tag team division.
It's just what you said before. It's when you look at WWE programming, like I said, it's all the matches are generally the same.
Yeah.
So when you look at just tag team matches or singles matches, it always begins the exact same way. Slow start, the faces get the upper hand, commercial break. We come back, it's the sleeper hold, the bad guy, the heels are in control for most of it, and then there's that one moment where in tag matches we get the hot tag and the faces start coming back. And it's just, by the end of the match, they start pulling out all the big moves. So it's pretty much, don't really focus on the middle storyline, because it's mainly just sleeper holds, rest holds, and really nothing. But when it reaches the end, then they start really building up everyone's moves, and then they land the one finisher. With these AEW matches, they start slow, and in the match, there's big moves, big moves, big moves, big moves. The tag team matches in this show were incredible. The six-man tag with SCU versus...
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
The Strong Hearts.
I like those guys.
I've never heard of the Strong Hearts until I saw AEW.
Oh, I wasn't talking about the Strong Hearts. I'm talking about SCU.
Yeah, well,
Christopher Daniels, come on.
yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Kaz and Scorpio, yeah. Scorpio Sky.
It's just, they're showing me people I've never seen before, getting me invested in their work, and then it's like they reward them for us getting invested in their work. It's like half of the guys don't even have contracts, at least in the Battle Royal. Half of the guys just showed up. They were paid for the spot. And then you got like a bunch of guys are signing contracts right after.
Who's the one giant guy? Like, he was the really big guy that did that suicide dive up between the second and third rope.
I'm blanking on his name too.
It's like, for a big man,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, but it is exactly what they said it was going to be. You would not see Cody versus Dustin the way that it was shown on AEW. You would never see that.
They got the time and the
now.
space that they needed, and that was awesome.
When I was watching that match, I'm just thinking, this was supposed to be a WrestleMania match.
And
if they were given the time and the creative freedom to pull off something like this, it would have been. Just imagine what they could have done with the creative freedom if they had it at WrestleMania.
The one thing I thought that wasn't needed. Okay, I don't think that throne bit was needed.
Which one?
Cody hitting throne with the sledgehammer.
Oh,
I'm like, you say you don't want to. You say you don't want to take shots.
I will agree on
WWE.
that one. I'm like, really?
I'm like, here's the deal.
Cody's defense.
Here's like. And if it actually worked as a visual for me, I would have been more accepting of it. Just like I would have been like, was that really needed? No, but it was a good visual. Whatever. That was cheesy as hell, man. That was not this explosion of dust. No, I'm like, I get where they were going with it. It's like Cody taking the hammer to WWE's throne, to Triple H's throne. It's like, okay, I get where you're going with it, but I'm like, you say you don't want to take shots, and then you take the biggest shot that you can possibly do.
In Cody's defense, when he did say this, it was before the Hall of Fame thing where Triple H said, like, oh, yeah, how many executive vice presidents do you need? Like,
well, I know, but it's one of those, like, it was an obvious joke, which is fine, but I'm like...
I saw that as a shot, and then because Triple H did that, the logic I saw was that Cody and company thought, like, okay, that's the way we want to play it. That's cool. We can roll with this.
And I would
fake. Give us a fake throne.
And it's one of those with the match that they had after that. With the match that they had, it felt to me out of place. I'm like, it's very emotional.
Okay.
It's brother versus brother. And let's fuck up this. Let's fuck up this
Triple H throne.
This Triple H throne, just for shits and giggles. I'm like, anywhere else on the card, not before or after that match. Anywhere else at the beginning of the show.
To be fair,
when everybody else came out, I would have been like, okay, yeah,
okay,
but that's it.
I would actually have appreciated that if it wasn't just a shot at WWE. Like, I know this is just me trying to bait. I'm pulling an optimism here. I would love to see once Triple H actually takes over and the whole Vince McMahon closed-minded WWE is the only way to go. The other promotions don't matter. Like, once Triple H takes control and is actually open, he's now open with his creative freedom. I would like to see him do cross promotions with other wrestling events, not just AEW, but like New Japan, Ring of Honor.
I don't think
they are doing it with Evolve.
They are doing it with Evolve.
I feel like AEW is never gonna happen with WWE. Just not as much as people would like it to happen. I think
just the idea of it alone would basically blow up wrestling fans' heads. I mean, it would make me lose my mind just thinking we could actually get a few dream matches that we've talked about for years.
Well, hell, Vince Russo already thinks that they're on the table.
He already thinks,
but that's Russo for you.
That's just Russo wanting to get back in the headlines again. That opinion is a load of crap.
Personally, yeah, I think it's way too early to even go there. It's just getting started. In terms of feel, though, this feels a lot like the beginning of Ring of Honor, but with a much, much higher budget. Yeah, you've got a handful of big names, but otherwise it's a handful of really good talent that are just starting to find their pace, a bunch of crew that are just starting to find their style, find their niche, and they've got all the resources they need to do it.
And of course, we would be remiss if we did not mention what happened after the main event. This is what, as much as the show itself was great, what was everybody talking about after the show? And I like what he said, that AEW, even if AEW wasn't around, okay, I know that we've been talking over the last few months or whatever about everyone's talking about AEW. Everyone who leaves WWE gonna go to AEW. He was like, yeah, after I left, I went straight to talk to AEW, but yeah, okay. If AEW wasn't around, I still would have left. Mm-hmm. But you could feel it when he came out, how free and how into it he really was. Like, it was night and day from his last stint in WWE. Okay, you could tell the entire time that he wasn't into anything he was doing during that last 8 months. Mm-hmm. That he was in. You could tell that he wasn't into anything he was doing. 10 minutes. 10 minutes at the end of Double or Nothing. He's more invested in what's going on than the last God knows how long.
And that pretty much just stems with what I said before about the creativity of the matches. That you can tell when these matches were made, they were basically planned out by the guys who were in the ring, not just a producer telling them what to do. This was the creative freedom that each wrestler had, and even on the mic, they had the creative freedom to say whatever they want. Everything felt real.
Everything felt organic. Like, it's all that. It's coming from the heart.
Mm-hmm. Not coming from a piece of paper.
Cody's promo after that match was one of the most emotional things. It got me. I'm gonna bring up WWE here. Don't get mad. Okay. The Roman Reigns promo where he was himself, talking about having cancer. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is coming from the heart. This isn't scripted. I can feel this. If they let him do this all the time, I could get behind this character. I could get behind this man. Okay, obviously, in the time past that, we're here now. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it just goes to show. Okay, Cody Rhodes' promo during Double or Nothing. John Moxley's promo after Double or Nothing.
Are you talking about Cody's promo after his match?
Yeah. Cody.
It's actually really funny because it's almost... I actually just watched a video before I came over here that it was pretty much word for word what Dusty said during the WCW show to Dustin. Like, pretty much building up. We don't need a friend. You don't need a partner. You need a family. I'll actually show you the video.
Yeah. I did not realize that when I was watching it. But
it was pretty much...
I got to see that
him
now.
What Cody said was pretty much word for word what Dusty said to Dustin in WCW. So I'm watching it now with this information that I got. It got me more emotionally invested on what he said, and as JR put it, I'm not crying. I just got something in my eye.
Onions. They're cutting onions.
Preparing to using his barbecue sauce there. Oh.
So
something barbecue sauce.
It just goes to show you this entire event, everything leading up to it, everything during it, everything after it. Okay, if you give these guys creative freedom, okay, you get more invested in what you see on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
I was more emotionally invested in this event than I have been in a WWE show for years.
It's actually funny. Like, my real final thoughts on this one is the show was damn near flawless.
There were some production issues that I had.
Mm-hmm. It was really just that.
There was the timekeeper thing.
The crowd are chanting, "You fucked up."
And the
like I said,
they need to work on their camera angles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for a first show, it's a good start on the production end. They need to shore that up a little bit, but on the wrestling end,
yeah, that's the kind of thing that's why I say that reminds me of Ring of Honor when it was just getting started out. It's a little unpolished, but there's tons of potential, and the raw talent there is undeniable. So that's what makes me think of Ring of Honor, and of course, you saw what Ring of Honor was and what it is today. It's still a powerhouse of wrestling talent. The only big difference is now they've got more focus, and now they've got a much, much bigger budget like we haven't seen in a very long time.
The only thing I can really compare AEW with is NXT. And in my opinion, that's the real competition that people want to see. When it comes to Vince McMahon's main roster, WWE, AEW just blows it out of the water. It's pretty much a no contest.
Mm-hmm.
The real challenge just seeing is what Triple H can do with his brand of NXT. I think that's the real war that people are really wanting to see. Because I'm looking back on all the takeovers, I pretty much say the exact same thing. The shows are damn near flawless. Maybe like one or two top hiccups, but mainly they're just nitpicks.
Mm-hmm.
I never ever had a real problem with NXT with takeover shows, War Games, Brooklyn. I've never had a problem with any of those shows. And now that we have Takeover 25 this weekend, which most likely will post our predictions. It really doesn't matter. It's not adding to our score for the year, but it's nice to get involved with all wrestling, especially since NXT is more than worthy of getting predictions. Like, we only didn't do AEW predictions just because we could have done the same thing, just posted it. We just lost the time to do it.
It happens.
It happens. But yeah, it makes me look forward to when AEW actually really gets in motion.
When October comes, it's gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's gonna be a lot of
and it makes me really
attention
excited
to where all these numbers are gonna land.
It's gonna make me really excited to be a wrestling fan.
Yes. However, even after Double or Nothing, the story was not over. As it was alluded, later on that week, we got a Talk is Jericho interview with John Moxley.
Great interview.
I'm gonna
Fantastic.
say this right out. It's my favorite podcast I've ever listened to. I know a lot of people are gonna bring up the CM Punk on Colt Cabana. Here's why I think this one is better. Okay. Dean Ambrose does go into... He does bury the WWE, only the creative team.
Mm-hmm. More specifically,
and Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon...
He points out that, creative know most of the stuff they do is bullshit. But it's because the focus is to entertain Vince McMahon.
Yeah. But he's also very... He's like... It was a great 8 years. Okay, I made a lot of friends, met my wife. I know that I am here. I know that I am here right now at the stage of the height of my fame because I was a WWE superstar. Okay.
Now let's go on to bury it.
It's one of those
now
things.
Now let's bury WWE for the next 2 hours.
It's one of those things where he was like, I know why my bread is buttered the way it is. The WWE helped me get here. Okay. But I got to get some things off my chest. Mm-hmm. That kind of deal. And that's why it comes off to me better, because it's not just bitter grapes.
I had one thought the entire time rolling through the entire interview. This is what CM Punk should have done. This is the whole CM Punk situation handled the right way. So that, with the CM Punk situation, there was a lot of really horrible things that went down. But
their stories are very similar.
It seemed like Punk was not totally blameless in this. You could still see why certain things may have happened. Dean Ambrose went on the right way. He let his contract run out. He simply didn't sign back on. He
showed up to work. Sasha Banks.
He showed up to work. He did everything he was asked. Tried to tweak it where he could, do his best where he could, and then after a while just said, "You know what? Sorry, I'm not re-signing. This is where I draw the line."
My favorite part of the whole thing was when he was talking like, I go into Vince's office. Okay, I'm like, why would I ever say this? I don't want to say this. Can we tweak it? And Vince is like, this is good shit.
This is you.
This is you. This is you. This is you. And in his head, Dean Ambrose, Jonathan Good, is like, there is no way that this is going to turn out well. But...
Pooper scooper.
But, okay.
That's you.
But
this is good shit.
But I'm going to do what I've been doing for the past 8 years. I'm going to take the shit that they serve me and do my best to turn it into gold. Hot dog carts, pooper scoopers, and all. And
taking needles to the butt was the final straw.
And he was like, and he was like, I know when there's nothing I can do to make this good. The needles in the butt. It's like that. It's like that is the moment that I knew that I wasn't coming back. But I'm a company man. They want me to do it. I'm gonna do it. And I'm going to take the best damn needle in the butt that anyone's ever taken.
What was it that he specifically said about... oh, God, now I just blanked out on it.
I also like if you're an elf and you want to be a dentist, go be a dentist.
Was some... when he talked about the burial of EC3.
Yeah.
I feel incredibly bad for EC3. Knowing that
circumstances, worst time.
He was in a lose-lose situation. Being booked, being booked as a face against heel Dean Ambrose and the fans knowing what's going on.
backstage, so nobody wants to boo Dean Ambrose.
Nobody wants to. So now,
everyone turns on EC3, and because of that,
immediate whatever chance they were going to give with him, gone. I'm like, that poor kid. That is the saddest thing to hear.
And then we saw him the next day on Monday Night Raw, just
at the tag team or the Usos.
He looked like a sad drunk.
I
like an uncle who had to watch the kids for 3 hours, and they're all running around screaming, my butt is full of poop, and they was like, yeah, I need a drink after this. Here's to you, glug. Yeah. I just sat there just thinking, I feel so bad for that man. Ugh, it was terrible. You liked that one, didn't you, Brian?
Sorry, I'm back on the watching kids. Oh, man, my diaper's full. Hi, Vince. How are you doing?
This is good shit, damn it. I'm Vince McMahon. But yeah.
It just solidifies the statement once Vince is gone.
It's one of those.
Now it's instead of being an audience of one, it'll be an audience for the WWE universe, the people who pay to see this crap.
It's one of those in our heads we already knew, but now we're getting confirmation from the inside, and
even
nothing has changed.
Even creative knows most of the stuff that they do is crap.
So it's like.
Pooper Scooper, that's fun
Jonathan.
That's you.
What Jonathan Good did here was he burned a bridge with Vince. If Vince is around, he's not. That's what's going on here. Okay, but once Vince goes, and he didn't talk bad about Triple H. He didn't talk bad.
It was Triple H that really tried to convince him to stay because, well, when you think about it. He was a Triple H guy.
Yeah.
So Triple H is like, you sure you want to do this? But it's what he said earlier. It's like when he was about to come back, he was so excited, and then he remembered, oh yeah, I'm coming back to WWE. Any enjoyment I had being all this creative ideas, like how I wanted to come back as a heel, but instead I'm just coming back as Seth Rollins' partner, and as if I'm going back to the status quo of when I came back. And even pointing out the facts like, okay, because Vince McMahon has to be in control of the situation instead of having things come naturally, they have to hint at his return. You have a Scottish psychopath, I have a lunatic. And then it's just like, he said that was just a nitpick, and that's nothing on Seth, but just that fused him. It was like,
it's like this is nothing on Seth. He was just reading what he was supposed to read, and then he sounded a lot like Seth did that night. That was pretty good impression on there. And then he was like, there were 4 different reactions, so he didn't get the big reaction. And he was like, how do you screw that up?
Because Vince has to be in control.
Overbooking.
Yeah. Vince has to be in control. That's the whole. And then he talked about like how he pays billions for Brock Lesnar to ruin his company. The part that got me laughing was that he admitted that he got $500 for his Shield appearance.
That was just sad.
That I was laughing, and then they were saying, "I'm not going to cash the check. I'm just going to put it in a frame." I was laughing. I'm like, yes, that is just Vince McMahon adding insult to injury. You said, yes, Vince McMahon burning the bridge with Vince McMahon.
I did like the royalty crack that he did, like a quarter through the show, where he was like, I stayed. Another reason why I stayed through the contract is because I stayed through the contract. I continue getting royalties, checks. Yep. So he sells a DVD in Cambodia. I get that 2.7 cents.
I actually laughed out loud at that part.
So
man knows what he's talking about.
It wasn't a bitter podcast. It was just a guy talking about his experiences with the leader of the company and the creative team. He likes some of the creative team. He hates others. So he was just like, I know shit when I see it.
What was the note? What was the note that Vince wrote about him?
Dean needs to understand why why he needs to say this to the fans. Dean needs to understand his character. And so it's
now it just when I watch mainly like Raw or SmackDown, it's kind of thinking like probably a good chunk of these guys who are going through the show are completely miserable,
and to tell you
because they're pretty much drones.
And to tell you the truth, it was actually very inspirational as well. This is a guy who got out of his situation with the company he was with the right way. Okay, has moved on to greener pastures, and it you could hear it on the podcast. You could hear it in his voice, like he's happier than he's been in a long time, and it has nothing to do with AEW. It has nothing to do with it. It just like he's free and can do whatever he wants at this point. He's like, yo, if shit gets weird with AEW, I'll just
go to Japan. Yeah,
not even that. He's just like, if shit gets weird in the wrestling business, I could just sell the house, get my RV with my wife.
That was a great
and we'll just travel the world. I'm at that point now where it's like all I want. I don't give a shit about money whatsoever. The talks with AEW didn't even involve money. Like, he didn't give a shit. They gave him an offer. He was like, yeah, as long as I have creative freedom and can do what I want in the ring and can tell stories that I know that I can tell, then we're fine. Sign it.
And to show like he was definitely like not wanting to really burn bridges fully with WWE, like you said, to Vince McMahon, yes, but to WWE, he said he goes on saying that he hopes that what he does in AEW can help inspire them to show that the wrestlers can be more creative with this and give them the creative freedom with promos and in the ring. And it's not just a script and producers.
I did enjoy the obscure reference at the end when he was talking to Seth Rollins and was like, yo, I'm like Harry and the Hendersons. When they release them into the wild with the Sasquatches at the end of the show, it's like, I'm a wild animal. I can't be caged. And I've been in a cage.
I've been domesticated far too long.
For the last 6 years. Ever since the Shield first ended, I've been in a cage. That's it. So it's time for me to break free of the cage. He did say
the second he can do comedy, they're like, oh no, that's how they're going to write him now. Just a comedy character. Yep. It's like, oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really rough, but still, it was also enlightening seeing that not much has changed, but now, if there was a bright side to all this, again, it was CM Punk done right, and thankfully, he hasn't lost his spark, he hadn't lost his love for wrestling, and now we're going to get, a whole new John Moxley, and I love it. So
if you haven't listened to this,
if
you haven't listened to this podcast, you need to listen to it.
It's like watch this, finish watching this, and then immediately go find it on YouTube or wherever you listen to Talk Is Jericho normally.
Yes, and meanwhile, right after this, especially after Double or Nothing, it seemed like a lot of people, especially myself, were thinking, okay, what's WWE going to answer back with? Are they going to do something big? Are they going to do something outside the box?
Boombox Brock!
Yes, we got Beatbox Brock Lesnar. I don't know if this was a horrible idea or a fantastic one.
I was amused.
I'm on the side of fantastic. Because this is actually showing that Brock Lesnar's actually having fun with this.
He's got a personality. It's for the first time. It's like, what
And him
I'm
smacking
amused.
Paul Heyman. It's like when Paul Heyman's actually starting to do some dancing, and he's just like,
"What are you doing?
Knock it off! What are you doing? What are you doing?
You weren't expecting it, and that's what makes it so good. It's like you think he's got to come out there all stone faced and like, and all of a sudden he's coming out like this, and he's dancing, and I'm like, what the fuck? What?
What's your?
This is great.
Which has been your favorite meme of him dancing to music?
Oh boy, that's a good one.
Mine's the Backstreet's Back. I'm actually gonna watch that after the show.
Yeah, we need to pull up some Lesnar memes. But yeah, after this, it wasn't even what really got me. What got me was later on in the show where he had to declare, okay, who are you going to cash it in on? And then he's going down the whole thing. I was like, wait.
May 19th, 2020. You do it until then.
I've got a year? Yeah, Brock, you got a year.
How do you not know? How did you not know this?
Because in canon, he doesn't watch the show. And it was like, oh, that's so good.
That is so clever. And he's
so
like,
good.
You know what? I got a year. So Seth Rollins, screw you. And walks out. And of course, they kind of had to ruin it with that Stephanie McMahon YouTube announcement that they're condemning Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, and that she's coming to Raw to do something about it. The fact that, oh yeah, he said that he was going to announce when he was cashing in, and he didn't cash in. Wait a second. He doesn't need to announce when he's going to cash in. That's kind of been the point of the Money in the Bank. Why is Stephanie McMahon coming on YouTube and saying she's going to come in and condemn Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, and saying there's going to be what's the word?
Repercussions.
Repercussions. Thank you.
What's going to happen is Stephanie going to get an F5. That's what's going to happen.
Like, oh man, that kind of, it's like,
are people going to start cheering beatbox Lesnar?
They kind of are.
That's great.
The response on the comments on that video is just like,
oh, the memes.
Wait, why is she complaining about this? He's doing nothing wrong. I like beatbox Brock. I like boombox. I like the memes. I already got my Brock Party shirt.
No, man. I can't believe that happened, but I love it. But honestly, I felt like that was the most enjoyable part of this week in WWE.
That and Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, honestly, and this is not the first time I've heard this week. My wife and I were just sitting there. We're sort of getting tired of like, okay, we're just waiting for Firefly Funhouse, and then we're going to bed. That's the story
of Raw for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, like okay, we want to see Firefly Funhouse, which, by the way, after the John Moxley revelations, can we appreciate now more than ever what a miracle it is that we're getting something like the Firefly Funhouse on Raw?
That is the perfect example of give the guy creative freedom.
And you get this.
You get great, and you get gold. That's what this is. Now it's hopefully it doesn't become the Emelina. Like, you're going to keep going on with this. Have them show up, for God's sake. But this is still, I am having a blast with this. And just, the tables have turned, I guess is the best way, because usually Sister Abigail is the one in control of Bray, but now Bray's the one in control, and Sister Abigail is the one is the tortured soul, saying, just let me rest in peace. I don't want to be in limbo. Limbo? And he does the spider walk, and they have that like cartoon. He's doing it, and the kids are just stone faced. I'm like, this is just great.
Oh, boy.
If I was in that audience, I wanted to see the audience reaction to that. Because they probably be like how I am. I am laughing. I am laughing hard with this.
Oh, brother.
And now we have it, the Fiend. Is that what he calls
the Fiend, yes.
Again, this is just...
I'm excited.
Super excited. That's really the only real thing I'm excited for with this. And just now the question, when is Brock going to cash in? And I only have two possible points in time when he's going to cash in. I haven't decided which one yet, but because both of them are actually really good arguments, but I won't say them now.
Yeah, I'm keeping that to myself as well. But outside of that, there really wasn't much else to get really invested in WWE.
It was a standard week of WWE television, which, you know what? Not so great after a show the quality of Double or Nothing. There was the talking point that they did mention AEW by name.
We can talk about AEW.
Raw.
Oh!
At least you could tell Sammy was just like, you know
Sammy
what?
was like, you could have asked me anything. You could... What a bunch of sorry questions. You could have asked me anything. You could have asked me about AEW.
Though, to be fair, the whole electric chair segment... It's a stupid as hell idea.
Oh, yeah.
It was. But even then...
It stinks of Vince.
This
is a really good idea. This is so good.
This is some good shit.
But you know what? That moment actually made me a bigger fan of Sami Zayn, because he strikes me as being one of those guys who, like, he's like, what are they going to do? Fire me? Vince can't afford to fire anybody. Either I say what I want to and it lands, or they'll give me a reason to fire me. He rolled.
Except
Sammy rolled that dice, and he rolled with it.
I honestly don't think he rolled that dice. I think that I'm about 90% sure that was scripted into the.
It's okay. Nobody. It's kind of a divisive argument throughout all the internet. Like, even Dave Meltzer says it was scripted. Brian Alvarez says it's not. No one's really sure.
No one knows.
And I think that it works to WWE's advantage. The fact that it's a good argument, it's a good discussion to talk about. It's keeping WWE in the topic. The only downside to it is, I love Sami Zayn. It's one of those things, like, I just can't get invested in him because, like, I love him on the mic, but once he steps in that ring, you know he's gonna lose. He's lost every match since coming back. So obviously they're not gonna. It's pretty much like, he's now gonna just run out his contract and just be like, okay, bye.
And if you lose Sami Zayn, do you lose Kevin Owens at the same time?
I doubt it.
I doubt it too, but
he's a good family man, and if he can,
he got kids.
Yeah.
Sorry, wrong gimmick.
Yeah. Well, he does have kids, number one. And number two, he's actually doing a lot with the roles that he's given right now. So I'd say, if anything, Sammy's probably going to go, and then Kevin is going to stay. If it comes to that.
And then when you go on to SmackDown, like, that's pretty much Raw in the bag. The one in SmackDown, the big storyline coming out of this
R-Truth
is R-Truth and the 24/7 title. Elias winning his first singles title.
R-Truth is the only thing that's making that title work for me right now.
He's Crash Holly.
And I'm enjoying when R-Truth has the title. When Elias won the title, I'm like, aww. It's only been a week of R-Truth running around. I want some Crash Holly.
Well, once that tag team match ended, the 24/7 rule came back, and R-Truth is now the first two-time 24/7 champion.
That was the first time I rooted. That was the first time, like, I rooted for Roman. When he speared Elias the second time, and I was like, "Yay, Roman! Get over there, R-Truth! Get over there! Get your title back!"
I was going to say, I was really hyped when he did that. However, I was savagely disappointed when
you wanted Roman Reigns to take the 24/7 title.
It would have instantly given it credibility. Like, everyone wants this thing. Now it's just like
it's only lower card. It's like Roman just looks like, I don't want that title. What am I going to do with a 24/7 title? But the one thing that I really hate about this is it's just exposing what the wild card rule is. All it is. The only people that have been benefiting from this wild card rule is Roman Reigns, Shane McMahon,
and Lacey Evans,
and I guess Lacey Evans, and
it's the only one I care about,
and Kofi, because he showed.
It's
only the same people, so it's obvious, clear as day, what the whole idea of this the wild card rule was, and that was what I was afraid of in the first place. And That's the one thing about the 24/7 title. It's like I was explaining before. It's like people are gonna lose time, but no, now they're just gonna waste time chasing after a title that really has no significant prestige to it. So again, it's just adding more to me hating this wild card rule. I was always for the brand split, having it two completely different shows, and right now, both shows. Raw has always suffered because, is it the 3 hours? Most likely, but it's just creative wrong. SmackDown, which in the past year has been the better show, and it's even now still the better show. I mean, it actually had a lot of wrestling in it. Granted, you can do that with a 2-hour show and not have the opening hour of Raw be promos. The first match on Raw is Shane McMahon versus Roman Reigns' cousin. And that was only a 2-minute match. So, you could tell wrestling-wise, they want to focus more on SmackDown. But promo-wise...
That's the problem with the Fox contract. Because Fox wants...
That's not a problem. They want it to be more of a sports wrestling-based show.
And Fox wants the brand split to end.
Oh, well, that part,
so
yeah.
That's what I meant. The problem with it's good for the wrestling side of it. It's bad for people who like the brand split because Fox is Fox. You want the big names on Fox. And the only way to get all of the big names on Fox is either this wild
card, the one big name, because that's all they want to put as the big name.
Well, I mean, Brock Lesnar. You want to get all of them. That you either do the wild card rule, which is what they've conceded to right now, or you just end the brand split completely. So that's the one problem with the Fox deal.
It's like it doesn't even really need to be a problem. Like, if Fox didn't say let's end the brand split, just have big names on SmackDown, because SmackDown usually is the better show. But because Vince McMahon, no, Raw is my baby. That Raw is the A show. That's the only show that matters. Damn it. Obviously, Vince can't make a small number of sacrifices for Raw to help make SmackDown a better show. Hence, that's why Fox wanted SmackDown and not Raw, because SmackDown was the better show. And again, it's just more unnecessary bullshit from Vince McMahon. Why don't you? It's like, makes me just go, dude, just give the company to Steph and Triple H and go run XFL to the ground.
Again.
Well, what are you gonna do? Thankfully, I feel like we're definitely turning a chapter in wrestling at the moment, but we're still very much in the thick of it. So,
Shane McMahon's the main focus of WWE television. Let's put that into best in the world. Shane McMahon is the main storyline that's going on both Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, how I wish it wasn't. Thankfully, if it wasn't for a few glimmering spots of hope, we'd be in deep, deep trouble.
Oh, I'm mainly just doing this because of my love for the wrestlers.
Absolutely. There's fantastic talent there. You just need to be utilized in the right way. But then again,
Vince.
I don't think we're saying anything that any of you listening here already know. But now, speaking of, we're going to turn it over to you, the wrestling community. What do you want to see? What changes do you want to see outside of just Vince stepping aside? What do you think of AEW? Where do you think it's all going to go next? We want to hear from you. Drop us a line everywhere across the internet. YouTube, Facebook, and of course our personal favorite, Twitter, starting with @ScholarsOW for all the latest episode uploads. And of course, you can check us out on our personal accounts. Fool, where can they reach you?
You can reach me at the Avataric.
Brian?
You can find me and my beefcase at Atomic Beanpole.
You should make that your,
Yeah, where is the beefcase right now?
It's safe.
Safe where?
You know where.
No, I don't.
Trust me. You know where it is.
I think we may get a picture of where it is soon.
Okay, and you can catch me at my account, not being quite so mysterious, at I'm Robbie Rage.
Have it be your account picture.
Well, at least we'll know where the beefcase is until someone decides to gash it in. But in the meantime, I don't know about you, but I've got prep for a certain title to be put on the line next week at Super Showdown.
May the best man be champion, fool.
Oh, I will.
Oh, come on. I'm trying to be respectful on this one. You have to be an asshole?
I'm sorry. That was my bad. I'm so used to the traditional level of vernacular here.
Hey, man. I'm being positive here. I mean, I didn't have to give you a title shot, but I did.
You know what? You're right. You threw the gauntlet down, and you're going to make a dubious quality show instantly more memorable.
May the best scholar win.
Let's do this. Don't you shake your head in that tone of voice.
Listen, you smell something? That's what I got out of that.
Anyway, the banter always continues because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome. See you all next week for more shenanigans.